Welcome to WFPC Podcasting, your local source for the heart and history of Pike County, Indiana. And now, here's your host, Randy Harris.
Welcome to WFPC Podcasting. This is a weekly look at news, information, and the people in and around Pike County. The Pike County Veterans Services is just what it says it is. But today we're going to detail those services, and no one better to walk us through that than the director, Denny Weitkamp. Denny, welcome.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Where did life start out for you? Holland?
Actually, you've heard of Selvin?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where I grew up, was in Selvin, Linville area. So that's where I went to school, grade school and high school. Graduated from Tecumseh.
Warwick County, just over the line.
Right. But my dad's side of the family is all in Pike County. He grew up in Stendal, Zoar area. So that's where the Weitkamp side came from. There's a lot of them down that way.
And it's got the old traditional spelling to it.
Right. Yep. That old German. Yep.
We had W-E-I-T-K-A-M-P, right?
W-E-I-T-K-A-M-P. Yep.
Yeah. That's the King James version, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you graduated from Tecumseh.
Yeah.
I'm guessing I know what came next, but what came next?
Well, let's see. I went and worked in the wood factories there for about 3 years, and I just decided wanted something more. I wanted to go back to school, go to college, so I ended up joining the Air Force and to get the GI Bill, and so that's what I did when I was active duty. I went to school at night too, so that was the main reason, was for the education.
Where were you stationed?
I went to my tech school out in Lowry Air Force Base in Denver, Colorado. I was there for a year. Then from there I went to Elmendorf Air Force Base in Anchorage, Alaska.
Wow. And
I was there for 3 years. And from there I went to Eglin Air Force Base, which is down in Florida. So
how long were you in?
4.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Then after I got out of that, I came back home. Actually, I got out on a Friday down at Eglin, and Saturday I was up at Terre Haute at Holman Field because I had went into the Indiana Air National Guard. So I did 2 stints there. So did 8 years up there. So,
well, we appreciate your service.
I was glad to do it. So
from there, you went into a little different career.
Yeah. So when I first got out of the Air Force, I went to work for GE, electronic calibrations. So I was doing the exact same thing I did in the Air Force. So, and I did that for about 2 years, and then they were going to close.
Which plant was that?
It was located in Evansville. Okay. It was there was only 3 of us. We had the 3 technicians and the 1 office lady, but we did a lot of
GE. I was thinking Mount Vernon, but
no. But we did a lot of calibrations out there on different equipment. But we went all over, traveled all over.
So bring us up in time. We're up to graduate high school in what year?
82.
82. So this brings you up to 92, 93, and you're wrapping things up at GE. What's next?
The post office.
There you go.
Yeah. So they were closing our lab down, so I had a choice. I could work from a van and be on the road every week, or I could move to Cincinnati and work out of that lab. Well, I didn't want to move, so
everybody was here.
Yeah, it just so happened that when I first got out of the Air Force, I took the test for the post office. And anyway, when that came about, the post office just happened to call me and give me an interview. And
traditionally, at least back in those days, the post office always respected and appreciated your service.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, that's just like my time that was in the Air Force. That all counted toward my postal time. So that was a good benefit. You start out automatically like you've been working there for 4.5 years. So you get the seniority, vacation. You get a little bump in the vacation So, yeah, it was all good. Best thing I ever did.
And so you came to Petersburg 1994, 5?
Well, no, I'm thinking that was 2000. I started.
Really?
Yeah, I started when I got hired. I was a city carrier down in Evansville, and then I was a supervisor down at Evansville. From there, I went to be a supervisor at Princeton, and then from there, I went to be a postmaster at Ferdinand, and then I came here.
Okay.
I think it was 2000, 2001, I think. Yeah.
I was thinking it was before that.
Yeah.
But
goes by quick. Yeah.
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 And you're married to a Petersburg girl. You got 4 daughters. Am I doing math?
We got 5 combined.
5, okay.
We got his, hers, and ours.
Okay, that works.
Yeah. She had 2 girls. I had 2 girls. And then we've got 1 together. Yeah.
And you're White Oak area now?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And so you go through years at the post office. How many years did you have in there?
In the post office, I had 27.
Wow.
And then I had my 4.5 years from the military, so that gave me
31, 32 years.
Yeah. And all you need to get to full benefits is 30 years, and my age is 56. That's what you need to get full benefits. So after I turned 56 in 1 month, I decided to
wrap it up. And I think not long after that, Tom Dooley was wrapping things up in the Veterans Office in Pike County. And it was a perfect transition.
Yeah. I wasn't planning on going back to work. I pretty well didn't do anything for a year and a half. My wife asked me what I was going to do. I said, nothing but piddle. I'm just going to piddle around.
And then she goes, here's a list for you.
Here's your honeydew list. Yeah. So the thing is, though, I get one thing done, she'd put 2 more on there. So I'd never get ahead,
Don't give Denise any ideas.
Yeah.
So you took over this office in 2020-ish.
2022.
22.
January 2022. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's been, like I said, I wasn't planning on going back to work, but I was asked about it a couple of times, and I said, well, if I was, that would be something I'd be interested in because it's the veterans, because I felt like whenever I was getting out, I didn't get any kind of information, didn't know what was available to me and everything. So that was one thing. I took the job too, just so I could learn stuff, what benefits I had, because I still didn't really know. So
walk us through what does it's called Pike County Veterans Services.
Right.
If I'm correct, don't mind to fact check me on this, but this is all memory. These kind of started cropping up, and of course they've grown, shifted, redirected. They kind of started out of a necessity to help Civil War veterans, and then it just grew
from there. Yep.
And I'm not sure on the history of your office, but before Tom Dooley, it was Rick France. Before Rick, I think it was Dick Williams, and Dick had been in there quite a while.
Yeah. And I think Jim White was in there.
Jim White was in there. He was. Good job.
Yeah.
So, what if you've got somebody just coming out of the service? Where do they get started? How do you start directing them?
Well, And nowadays too, before they get out, they give them a class on VA benefits and everything, so they have a little bit better idea of what to expect. Basically, because everybody complained all through the years that we didn't know what's going on, so now the active duty, they pretty well know that there is a Veterans Affairs and that there's two sides to it. There's the health benefits and then the disability.
But you don't work for the VA.
I am not a VA employee. I am VA certified, but I'm a county employee. So.
And you're just here to help Pike County veterans walk through this process.
Right. Yeah, and every county in the state of Indiana is required to have a veteran service officer. So, there's 92 counties, right? Every county has one. But I me personally, I do have some that come from Du Bois. I have some that come from Knox, Gibson, and Davies. I'm not going to turn anybody away, so.
Maybe they just like you and like what you can provide for them.
Well, like I said,
smaller office.
Yeah. A little bit more home. It's hometownish. You're out in the country. It's a little bit more laid back than Evansville.
Oh my!
They get a lot, and they get a lot. They get a lot from Illinois and Kentucky because, believe it or not, they're funding. The state isn't funding, like Illinois is not funding Illinois. You might have 6 counties that's only got one officer that covers 6 counties. So there might be a waiting list to get into that office. So a lot of them are coming to Evansville to get in.
And then,
which kind of takes away from the Indiana veterans because Indiana's funding us, but now we're serving Illinois and Kentucky, so it kind of takes away.
What is your what's and now let's clarify, you are no longer in the courthouse.
No.
You tell us about your office.
Okay, so now last October we moved over to Winslow. If anybody's familiar with the old Medical Arts building, I guess the county bought that last year, and they've moved my office, and the health department is over there. We just got our new sign up about a month ago, so it says, Pike County Government Services. I think that's what it says, and it's got health department and veteran services. So, yeah. That's where we're located at. The address is 2206 South State Road 61, Winslow. When you
just north of town.
Yeah, when you coming from Campbell's, from Petersburg, coming in that way, you pop over the hill. It's on the right.
Yep.
Yep.
What is your biggest need? What are you finding that our veterans need assistance on?
A lot of what I do, I would say 90% of it is disability claims where they have some kind of injury when they were active duty. And, believe it or not, I still have Vietnam veterans that have never filed anything.
Wow.
That's came in. I've had just 3 or 4 months ago, I had someone that's like 83 years old, came in, first time he filed. Everything. He was parachuted out of planes and everything. Which that really puts stress on your knees, your ankles, your back with all those hard landings and everything. And he was in pretty bad shape anyway. But he asked me he said, "Well, I think I'm too old." I said, "You're never too old. It's never too old to file. If you're thinking about it, I'd just say do it. The worst I can tell you is no and deny you. But whenever a veteran comes in, I review all their history, their health history, and just see what they've got going on. A lot of times, they'll say, "Well, yeah, I hurt that during active duty," but they kind of, when you're in active duty, they kind of don't want you to go to sick call. You know, you kind of just suck it up and push on, because it's just a little stigma there where, just suck it up, and move on. So, but as you get older, that stuff, it adds up.
Takes its toll.
It does, yeah. So, I encourage anybody, even if you did file when you first got out, at least come in and we can review your whole file and see if there's anything else I can do for you.
And you've still got a lot of Vietnam veterans that you're servicing?
Yes.
Is that your biggest class?
Yes. Yep, is the Vietnam. I don't have, the younger ones with the Gulf War and everything. That might be, I have some of those, but
it's coming. They're in their 50s now, maybe 60s.
Yeah. Well, I was in during the first Desert Storm, which was, it
was 90.
Yeah.
89, 90.
Yeah. So
91, 92. I'm doing math.
91. Yeah. So, yeah, and that goes all the way up to now, basically. So, because you still got people over there in Afghanistan still serving, over there in Southwest Asia. You just don't hear about it on the news and stuff, but you still got people over there. If you and you've kind of said this, but if we've got somebody out here watching this or listening to this podcast, besides encouraging them to come in, what else do you need to tell them? Yeah, there's federal benefits and state benefits. So,
and those don't come automatically.
No, it just kind of depends. So like for the state, you can go to the indiana.gov and just put in a search for Department of Veterans Affairs. It'll tell you everything about the state of Indiana as far as veteran benefits. One of those benefits is, and a lot of people don't know, is if you're a disabled vet, you can get a tax exemption off your property taxes. If you qualify for that, that's
big.
Yeah, there's two different exemptions. One of them is like $24,960, and the other one is $14,000. So every little bit helps.
And then the age exemption helps.
Exactly.
And you combine those plus your homestead.
Yes.
It's pretty significant.
Right. And then another thing too is for a disabled vet, for the younger ones, if you have a child that's going to go to a state school, Indiana, their tuition is free.
Wow.
So it doesn't matter if you're rated at 10% or 100%, their tuition is free, but it has to be a state school.
And I'm just going to throw this out. An 83-year-old guy who jumped out of parachutes is going to get a whole lot more out of having a sit-down face-to-face with someone like you who knows the ropes, knows a little bit about what his service was like.
Right.
And you can walk them through that instead of just throwing a screen at them saying, figure it out.
Yeah. And that's a lot of the reason why they don't come in, is they don't mess with the computer.
They're frustrated.
They're frustrated. It's been this long. It's like, well, why bother?
And so many of those guys that you're describing, that I'm always proud of Pike County, but they're rugged individualists.
Right.
We don't expect people to take care of us. We'll take care of ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's one of the things I love about this community.
Yeah.
And they have that same nature.
Yeah.
In their service. They served you. They don't need you to serve them.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And there's a lot of times I hear this a lot is, well, I'm not that bad. I don't want to take away from somebody else.
Isn't that gracious? Yeah.
Right. But I can tell you this, that there's enough in that VA budget to cover every veteran at 80%. Right now we have like a third that are signed up for benefits across the country. There's about a third of the veterans that sign up. So you've still got a lot of them that they never sign up for any of the benefits.
And you're urging them to come see you.
Oh yeah. Yep.
What days are you in the office?
I'm in there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Usually it's 8:15 to 3:15. I'm pretty flexible because I know, there's still people that's working. If you give me a call, I've met veterans at 9 o'clock at night. I've met them on a Saturday morning, Sunday afternoon. Since I live pretty close, I'm pretty flexible, and I just want to be there to help the vets. That's what I'm here for. It's what I love to do. It's one of the best. I would say it's a really gratifying job to help somebody, because I know, like, when I got out, I didn't have any help, and if you don't ask, nobody's going to tell you. Mm-hmm. You might just get an answer, oh, you're not eligible, but they don't go the next step and say, well, yeah, you're not eligible for this, but you need to check into this. Nobody did that. So
right now, you're appealing to the wives, the daughters, the sons.
Everybody.
Get dad in here, and let's see if we can help
get
him.
Dad or grandpa
get mom in here.
Yeah. And the other thing that a lot of people don't know too is if, say, like your Vietnam veterans, if they're service connected and they happen to pass away from one of those service connected disabilities, then their surviving spouse, is entitled to a survivorship money if they died from one of those disabilities. And for a widow, not
Well, that's significant.
Yes.
What are some of those disabilities that you deal with that we might not even think of?
Well, there's so many. But
my mind's wanting to go to you. Thinking about your friend who jumped out of airplanes. Wow.
Okay.
Hips, knees, ankles.
Yeah, all that. That's what he did a claim on all that. So like his exam, what they do is for your ankles and your knees, what they do is do a range of motion to see how far you can actually bend your leg. So it's the same way with your back, how far you can bend over.
I'm going to go somewhere I don't want to, but Agent Orange, are you still dealing with that today?
Yeah. So like with Agent Orange, they have a presumptive disabilities, which could be ischemic heart disease. So if they have any kind of a heart problem, they could be connected. And then let's just say they pass away from heart disease, heart attack. So it's where that spouse can come in and I can do the paperwork, and they can get a monthly survivorship check too. So, it's not, a lot of that is for disabled, but that's the first step, is you got to get service connected. So a lot of Vietnam veterans, you also got type 2 diabetes, which is pretty common. If you served in Vietnam, that's one of the presumptives too.
Why? Why type 2 diabetes?
It's just
from Vietnam.
The Agent Orange, that's what it's been known to.
Really?
It may not cause it, but it can sure aggravate it. That's all you got to prove, is that it caused it or aggravated it. So.
And you can help them do that.
Yes.
You document their story, and then you pull out comparisons from the criteria that you've read about.
Exactly. And I've got different...
To say, this makes sense here.
Yeah. And then I go I look up different medical research to see the causation of whatever their disability is, what could be the cause of it. And I find that medical research and submit that with their claim.
Tell us some more about different things.
Let's see. Well, I can tell you the biggest disability claim is hearing, because, boom. Yeah, if you're in the Army, what's going off all the time? You're out firing live rounds all the time, just in training, And then if you're Air Force, if you're out on the flight line, you're around the jets, the generators, everything. So
Navy,
same deal. If you're on a ship, you've got those boilers. You might be sleeping right, below those boilers that are going on all the time. So that is the most common is hearing disability.
My dad, a machinist mate, was in the boiler room, and he was always afraid. He said all those big pipes were wrapped in asbestos.
Yeah.
And he said, I just take my arm in my T-shirt and wipe the dust off and climb on it and take my naps up there.
Yeah.
And so he had always told me someday that might come back. It never did.
Yeah.
But
and it's just like that. I've had different claims with asbestos, just like that case there. You're sleeping right next to those pipes.
Right.
Yeah. And there's a listing of every ship that had asbestos exposure. So they're pretty up to date on.
Thanks for watching WFPC Podcasting. Let's take a quick 60 seconds to hear from our episode sponsors.
WFPC welcomes a new sponsor, Hathaway Excavating and Rock Yard, located right here in Pike County on State Road 64, just west of the Arthur Junction, near the new Pike County EMS building. Besides excavating and dirt work, Hathaway Excavating adds a rock yard to their bundle of services, along with all kinds of dirt work, septic cleaning, septic installs, and always local friendly service. Hathaway Excavating and Rock Yard, 812-582-2646. Recently, the real estate market has been unpredictable, but at Harris Real Estate, we still have clients looking for homes and properties. Let us help you sell your home or property and or find your next one. We're local. We know the business. We know the community. Harris Real Estate has listed and sold hundreds of properties right here in Pike County. Harris Real Estate, 812-380-1065. And when you wash your vehicle on a regular basis, there are many advantages. You're easier to see, you preserve the life of your vehicle, you help maintain its value, protect its paint, prevent corrosion, and it just looks better. It only takes 6 quarters or your credit card to get it started. Stop by Petersburg Car Wash today, 401 South 9th Street, Petersburg. So we left off at more other things that you're seeing that veterans, it just kind of fits their MO, that they might have an issue with that you need to check out for them.
Mm-hmm. And another is a mental health condition. That's a biggie. Nobody likes to talk about it. There's a big stigma with.
Did not even jump out at me.
Yeah. So like a lot of Vietnam vets don't want to talk about it. And
PTSD.
There's PTSD. And then you've got anxiety, depression. You've got those. So.
And what can you do? What do you do to help them? You just find them help.
Yeah. So if they're not already, if they want to talk to somebody, we can get them help down at the VA clinic or at the vet center that's right in front of the VA clinic. We can get you if you need to talk to somebody. You can also, there's a number 998 that you can, I think it's 998 or is it 988? anyway, they can call that and talk to somebody. And then if you want to do a claim with that, basically we write up that statement. And that's what I tell them. You got to be, because you'll go to see a psychiatrist and for that exam, and they'll determine if you actually got PTSD or major depression disorder or anxiety disorder. So that's the time that you got to be willing to be comfortable being uncomfortable talking about it, because you're your best advocate, really. That veteran is. Now, I've had veterans that get in there and just decide that I can't talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
So many of our veterans do keep it within, don't they?
Oh yeah. And it used to be a big stigma. It's we're talking about it more and more nowadays. So it's okay to talk about it. That stigma isn't there like it used to be.
What do we hear on the news, we see on the news, homeless vets. Do we have homeless vets? There's surely something you can do to help guide and direct a homeless vet.
I've really, since I've been up here, I've only had one that had reached out to me for that, and we got them set up down at Evansville through Echo Housing. They have a program, and that's where he went. But there's a big need. I know that the VA just approved this past week more funding for the homeless vets. And I tell you, another great organization is that Tunnel
for Towers?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. They're opening up veteran homes. They're taking old hotels and renovating them, and they're actually making these veteran cities where they're making a veterans homes out of it.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. And then again, they're homeless because they don't want to ask for help. They don't want to hand out, but how do they say that? You can just need a hand up,
right.
Help up. So just to get them back on their feet and get them going again.
So if you're a vet and you have some issues, but you've got a little too much pride, just drop that pride and go see Denny.
Yeah.
Is it overwhelming for people to think that the next step after you can help diagnose, figure out what the problem is, what do we need to do to remedy this, and then you send them off to the VA? Is that overwhelming to a veteran, especially those rugged individualists? I'm here to serve you, not you help me.
Right. So, a lot of them, they go to their own family doctor. And, if you signed up for VA health care, you don't have to get rid of your family doctor. That's just like me. I got both. I've got my family doctor and I've got my VA doctor. I use both, mainly because I have to be in the healthcare to get my hearing aids, which I don't have in today. I can hear.
We're close enough. You can read my lips.
Well, plus I can hear men better than I can women.
Huh.
My wife used to think it was selective hearing, but come to find out, being in the Air Force, I got high frequency loss. So that's why women have a higher frequency, and that's just that frequency I can't hear. So it's not that I wasn't paying attention, I just couldn't hear you. So yeah, that's what I tell her, at night. I say, well, I'm getting ready to take my ears out. If you got anything else to say, you better say it. So then I take my hearing aids out and charge them up. So, but yeah, that's why I stay with the VA healthcare is so I can stay. You get your hearing aids for free, you get your eyeglasses for free. So that's another benefit too.
So you will walk them through the steps.
I will tell, yes, everything. Yep. And a lot of times I know it's overwhelming when they first come in, talk to me. It's like I'm throwing all this information at them.
You
that's
give
fine.
them a folder full of papers.
Yeah. So it's like, if you got questions, just, if it pops in your head, just give me a call. If you get my voicemail, just leave me a message. I will get back with you. I just don't come in there the next morning and erase all my messages. When I come in Tuesday mornings, I know when I first got there, it was kind of slow, but now when I come in every morning, because still people don't know my hours, or people think I'm still at the old Petersburg gym, so just, they need to know that I am at Winslow and I am available, and my number's 354-6245.
6245.
And like I said, if I don't answer, leave a message. I will get back with you. And we can just kind of talk about your circumstances and see what we can do.
Before we had cell phones where you just press a button and say, call Denny Weitkamp, I used to memorize all those phone numbers.
Yeah.
And I would associate them with significant points in history. So that's Bay of Pigs, end of World War II, 6245.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
354-6245, call Denny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you get many referrals from doctors? Do doctors say, we've got an issue, can you help?
No, not since I've been here. I haven't had anybody. I do go to, like, if the veteran has a problem, sometimes we might need a statement from the doctor, and I work with that doctor to get that statement. But it's nothing that the veteran really has to do.
And again, that veteran might be too proud. So you're reaching out to their spouses.
Exactly.
You're reaching out to their kids, their family members, their friends. You are here to help. And it's, you've watched me long enough. I'm a small government kind of guy, but one thing that we should do is have our defense. Mm-hmm. And you're our defense. And you were our defense 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago to keep us where we are today.
Yeah.
And it's, you deserve help if we've caused some problems.
Right. Well, this is like the veteran, when you enlist, you signed up for 4 years, you're
40 years later, you're dealing with it.
Yeah. And you are, that 4 years that you're in there, or however long you're in there, you belong to the Army. So, I always said that, service requires sacrifice. Everybody has a different level of sacrifice, but every veteran has had to sacrifice something, some more than others. So a lot of times they think they don't deserve it. But in our job, we say, you served, you deserve. So, you fulfilled your obligation with the Army or the Air Force, Marines, Navy. You did your stint, and part of their promise is to take care of you, and that's what the VA is for.
And you can help those widowers, the widows, children.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's
there's, and this is kind of a sad case, but that's for the Gulf War guys. There's the suicide rate is pretty high. So a couple of years ago, I have dealt with somebody that did commit suicide. They had 2 children still in school. So when I was talking about that survivorship for the spouse, the kids get that too, till they turn 18. So, that's one thing that I talk about when the older vets is if you, about the surviving spouse is, if you don't want to do it for you, do it for your wife, because it can help her once you're gone. So.
Great. And as our audience can tell, Denny, you're an easy guy to talk to. And
yeah. And I'm
very approachable.
Yep.
You listen.
Yep. And, I might ask a lot of questions. It's not that I'm being nosy. I just need to know your story. And
you want to build their case.
Yeah, I need to know what to look for and, just what your circumstance is. And I tell everybody that. I said, I'm not being nosy. But if you don't want to tell me, that's fine too. But, I kind of need to know to know your story.
Yeah, you're not going to talk about this with anybody else.
No.
You're building their file and their case so you can better help them.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Because if I don't know, and this happens a lot, the veteran may think it's not important or it's little, and then we get to talking and we're doing the statements, and they'll blurt out. I said, "Oh, wait a minute, you never said nothing about that." I said, "That's another issue that we could."
There's a red flag there.
Yeah. So, yeah. No matter how small you think it is, it could turn out to be something else. So.
I'm switching gears for a minute, but our Vietnam veterans are now, if not in their 80s, approaching their 80s. Mm-hmm. Do you have any Korean veterans left that you help?
I think the other day you asked me that, and I think I got one, and I'm trying to think if he may not have been in Korea, but he sure was in during that time.
And I think actual, I've always called it like 1950 to 54, but I think some of those, they held that status out until maybe 58.
Yeah, they hold it out longer than what it actually is, because there's, even though the war is over, you still may have people over there,
right,
in that zone. Yeah. And I'm thinking the guy that I give the examples for about jumping out of planes, I'm thinking he is a Korean vet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just didn't have time to check on it
the
other day when we talked. So.
Any World War II guys still out there, or gals?
No, not that I know of. If we do, if somebody sees this, let me know. Yeah.
World War II ended in 45. We have to make that cutoff. If you were 17, that means you'd be about 97, 98 at the bare minimum. Most of them would be over 100.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to put my glasses on.
That's fine.
What else do we need to talk about that we haven't touched on yet?
Well, if you want to see, if you have a computer, you can go to va.gov, and pretty well any question you got, you can type it in the search and do that. If you don't understand it, give me a call. They have an app, VA app for your phone that you can download too.
I'm guessing you have a lot of those rugged individualists that don't even want to mess with those.
Right.
And that's why you're here.
Yeah. And, as far as if they don't have a computer and they don't want to mess with a computer, I help them along on everything. This is what we're looking for. Like I said, I do the medical research, which it just strengthens your case. So I do that. And as far as your statement, I help you with that. Not that I'm coaching you. It's just that I'll kind of pull it out of you by asking questions.
And you can type a letter. You can You can take their words, put it on form. They can sign it.
And that's what we do before we actually file the claim. We'll go over everything. They'll read it, sign off on it, and it'll be good to go. That whole process can take, on the average, I would say 4 months. Yeah, it's just like being in the military. You hurry up and wait. So,
what a interesting program you've provided us today.
Yeah,
that's great.
Well, another state benefit is for if you're a disabled vet. Since we're in a rural county, the hunting and fishing license, you can get it for $2.75 a year.
Great.
So, and that's the small game hunting and fishing.
It's for any veteran.
It's for disabled veterans. Yeah, disabled veterans do have a lot more benefits than just a regular veteran. And then we've got on the other side, as far as when a veteran does pass away, and you've seen those markers on the headstones. You would come to me to order that, and those are free. The county puts them on. The county pays to have those put on there. So all you got to do is come in and order it. So, and we take care of everything else.
Do you work closely with the VFW and the Legion? Do they?
I work with them a little bit, not as much, but there's times that we do reach out to each other. If we've got a veteran that needs some kind of assistance, I know the Legion at Winslow has helped out. They do a lot of fundraisers, and they've helped out several veterans as far as monetary donations if they're in need. So I do know that. VFW, we have done some, but I don't know if they have very many fundraisers or not. But they have helped too. I'd say, if you're a veteran and you're not in one of those organizations, it's good to be in it, so you can kind of
be in the know.
Be in the know, yeah. Because that's how a lot of people, I still have veterans will say, well, yeah, I was talking to so-and-so in the VFW, and they said something about, some of these benefits. Oh, I didn't know that. So then they call me up and ask about it. So you would think after all these years that the word would be out, but it isn't. Yeah.
And again, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, roughly 8:15, 8:30
to 3:15.
3:15. Yeah. I know why your schedule is like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's the summer hours are different. Yeah.
We see each other in line to pick up our daughters.
Yeah. That's why that is, yeah. But like I said, I'm available. If you need to see me, we'll make it work. And like I said, I'll see you on a Friday, Saturday morning, Sunday afternoon, just whatever it takes. At least we'll talk and see if there's something I can do, and then we'll go from there. So
another year, Olivia's going to be getting that license, and your hours
and then I'm out. Yeah.
Can expand.
Yeah.
Jenna and I are going to start that here in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Just learning how to drive.
Yeah.
Denny, Dylan, how are we doing on time?
Okay.
Denny, we so appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, no problem.
What a great program.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we're forgetting? Anything else we need to talk about? What else on your notes?
I told you it's all right here.
That's great.
the main thing I wanted is, like I said, tell your dad or your grandpa to get them out. Yeah, ask about it. Make sure that they know their benefits. Just give me a call.
And again, that generation, they're going to be pretty resistant to taking help.
Yeah.
Because they were the providers. They were the ones that helped other people.
Mm-hmm.
And there might be a little pride jumping in there.
Yeah. Like I said, it's not a handout, it's a hand up.
Yeah.
Everybody.
And they earned it.
Yeah.
They deserved it.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And we appreciate
exactly
what the veterans have provided for this country.
Oh, yeah.
To remain who we are.
Yeah. Yep. Just like I said, service requires sacrifice. Some sacrifices more than others. I can tell you when I went to basic training, you wouldn't think this would happen, but that first couple of nights when you're in bed, I mean, you hear these 18, 19-year-olds, they're crying. That was one thing I was really surprised about. It's like to hear that, but there's a lot of times you miss home, and especially you've got my grandma always sent me cookies and stuff. Well, I just didn't, I shared them. I had a guy from he was from the Bronx, and he was totally. It's a different world, because he was saying like he didn't have a driver's license. We were the same age. We were both 23. And he's like, he didn't have a driver's license. He said, if I had a car, he said, where would I park it? There was no place to park it. And he said that, anyway, when he was in there, he never heard nothing from any of his family, nothing. And so, my grandma was sending me cookies, every month, shoebox full of cookies and goodies. So, I started sharing it with him and everything. So then he was looking forward to my grandma's, but yeah, it's kind of, it's different. You up and leave home, and some, they're leaving a bad situation to get away from it. And the I do not regret joining the military. I loved it,
Thanks for joining us for this program of WFPC Podcasting. The program is brought to you by Harris Real Estate, Hathaway Excavating and Rock Yard, and Petersburg Car Wash. Please like the podcast and share with your friends so more people can hear about WFPC. You may find WFPC Podcasting on our website, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you listen to your favorite media. Join us next Friday for another WFPC podcast exploring the people, information, and news right here in Pike County. See you next week.
Thanks for watching WFPC Podcasting, your local source for the heart and history of Pike County, Indiana. From back roads to town centers, we bring you the voices, stories, and news that shape our community. Join us on this journey through the past, present, and future of Pike County, Indiana. Tune in next week for the next episode of WFPC Podcasting.